I should push myself to review metal more. I'm not the most well versed in metal, honestly. That's probably why I don't review it, because I just don't really feel like I'm the most, you know, helpful figure to be directing you on what metal is good and what metal is bad. But fuck it, you know, let's give it a try. Torche are like a stoner metal, sludge metal band, I think. Again, I wouldn't trust myself to be perfect at differentiating metal subgenres, but yeah, it's stoner metal. And these guys are actually known for being one of the more dynamic, exciting, and catchy groups in the genre, fusing elements of pop-punk in albums like Neanderthal and Harmonicraft, the latter of which I actually think is fucking brilliant, a really blistering journey of an album that I would highly recommend you give a shot to. An awesome cover art on that thing too. And here we have their brand new album, Admission, and this album seems to be a little bit more subdued than what I think fans are used to with the band. A bit more of a melancholic approach to the writing, to the general presentation of the sound here. The riffs are slower, they're sludgier, they're not really quite as punky and peppy as they were on those albums I mentioned a second ago. I found this project to be quite hypnotic at times, in just the way it looped these really grungy riffs that just swallowed the track so much. It was pretty intimidating at points, but ultimately this didn't really stick out to me or really impact me as much as their previous ones did, for the most part because the lead vocalist, I don't really know his name, I didn't look up his name, I'm the what? He did not have nearly the same as he did on Harmonicraft. Bro, what happened to him? He just didn't have the bite I was hoping he would. I felt like if he just came with a bit more of an enthused performance, these tracks might have hit a lot harder, but he sounded bored as fuck this whole album. And maybe that was the point. Maybe that was intended to add to the kind of more dreary writing on this album, but ultimately it made this thing so much more difficult to sit through. Some of the songs, particularly the title track, hit quite hard for me. Like, I thought the lyrics on that track were really cool. It's basically about him sort of neglecting the concept of love entirely, because he's been through it and it's hurt him, and now he wants to try and survive without having that be a part of his life. And that's how I've interpreted the lyrics. I hope I haven't, you know, completely butchered what they were supposed to mean. But I thought it was pretty nicely worded. I think the writing all over this thing is quite moving. The performance just feels so emotionless. It feels really passionless to me on damn near every song here, and that really pulled a lot of the power out of these tracks in my opinion. It did have a few moments of genuine exhilaration. Opening track, prime example. This track is all about like foreseeing your future, all the different paths, and just not knowing what's coming, and the frantic burning anticipation of that subject I think is nicely reflected in just the pummeling riffs on this thing right out the fucking gate. This track's like a minute and a half long. It's quite short, but damn does it leave an impression, and segues perfectly into the next track, Submission, which has one of the catchiest lead riffs on the album as well. And some of the lead riffs, I like how some tracks sort of started off with a riff that was kind of grungy, slow, oppressive, and then it just sort of kind of gradually progressed into something a little bit peppy, a little bit more, you know, fiery. Like the track Reminder, for example, the second half of that song really hits you in the face. I also fucking love the what the fuck is that? The bass tone on the track Infierno. I thought it was fucking brilliant. But yeah, the overall just drawback to this thing is just the vocals. I just find them really dull, and I just don't really think he has the same power he had on previous Torche albums that I would absolutely recommend checking out. Harmonicraft. I think that thing is really, really exciting, but this one doesn't really seem to be offering anything that you couldn't get from, you know, your average sludge metal album from what I can tell. Like Harmonicraft, that fucking stood out quite a bit with just how catchy and peppy it was, but still like quite, you know, dark and murky. Like that thing was still fucking pummeling at the same time. I don't know if this thing's really gonna be sticking much with me like that over time, so I'm feeling a 5 on this. Let me know what you think of this album, if you really dig it and all that good shit, and yeah, just tell me if you think I'm batshit insane. Just please tell me. Still definitely going to be keeping my eye out for the future of Torche, because I do think they are an interesting band, but yeah, this one just didn't really hit me much, so 5 out of 10 it is for me, in my opinion. That's my review. Hope you enjoyed watching it, and yeah, go check out this album, go see what you think. I'll see you later. Bye!